Now let me tell you about Jonah. He was in the fish's belly for 3 days. Now, I didn't say a whale, although we want to assume it was a whale because what other big fish could it have been? But it was a big fish. That's all you need to know. And you don't know if there's only one of those fish around and that God had made that fish for this one purpose. You don't know that. But we, in our own wisdom, our own knowledge, want to assume it must have been a whale because they have been around for years. And we don't think that God could have created something for this one purpose. He was in the big fish's belly for 3 days and 3 nights. But we don't hear when he made the prayer to God because he was still hardened in his own ways. Could you imagine how we could be so set in our own ways that we disregard the environment of danger in which we're in order to continue to pursue our own ways? Do we understand how crazy that is? He's in a big fish's belly. Weeds are wrapped around his head. He's going down into the depths of the earth while being in the belly of a fish for 3 days and 3 nights. And he still has it within himself to hold this grudge against the people of Nineveh. Some of us act that way toward our spouses. Some of us act that way toward our children. Regardless of God stirring us up because of our ignorance. Because we place our bodies under stresses that we don't need to. Because instead of forgiving, we choose not to forget. We as Christians naturally assumed he prayed within the first day. And maybe he prayed for 3 days and 3 nights. No, read the message. 3 days, 3 nights, then Jonah prayed. Or it would have said, for 3 days and 3 nights, Jonah prayed. But God looked beyond his faults and saw his needs. He knows his servant. He's found of God. Well, what are you trying to say, Pastor? Is Jonah different than us? I mean, aren't we made of the same clay? Aren't we fastened the same way? Don't we think the same thoughts? Purpose is very different. The calling is very different, which means that the way that he lives is very different. Have you been ever in a situation where one act of disobedience was followed by a chastisement by God? I mean, immediately? No, we don't even see that. So much so that we look at those people and say, hey, nothing happened to them for doing wrong against their spouse or wrong against their family or ultimately wrong against God. So I'm going to do it too. And although you decide to do sin, you just accept a different power to come into you, a different spirit, let me say. As Jonah prays, he gets to a level of meditation where he realizes where he is. Because at this point, it could have been just darkness. But God allowed his spirit to be open to where he is. How does he do that? I didn't say look around. I said, what is this squishy thing on my head? These are weeds. Why does it feel like I'm going lower? Why does it feel like I'm moving? I'm not dead. I'm in the fish's belly. Is at that moment in time where his perception is changed, how he views life. He realizes it's not about me. It's about God. God's word is worth everything. And just that simple message, we refuse to receive. If God created the world and everything in it, doesn't it make sense that we need his word to continue in him, to continue to flourish? No, but we see the world in disarray. And when we have a problem of drought and when we have a problem of sickness or some type of disease, we call upon God because we really know who our source is. But we only use him in the greatest times of affliction. We need to use him all times, every day, throughout the day. As we heard with Daniel, he prayed to God 3 times a day. This is not a prayer of complaints. This is not a prayer of gain. I want more of this and more of that. This was a conversation he had with God of what can I do better? Where can I improve? This was a time where he gave obstinance to God. Thank you for being you and revealing yourself to someone like me. But he didn't stop there. I want to be more like you. And that's just another reason why Jesus came. So those types of words don't seem like a sort of blasphemy. Let me be Christ-like, that I could serve God the way he wants me to serve it. If we read on in 7, it speaks about his soul fainted within him. And that's when he remembered the Lord. Because it was too much information for him to perceive that he fainted within his soul. Wait, I'm in a fish's belly. 3 days now, 3 nights. I don't know where this fish is going to take me. I don't know what part of the world I'm in. Am I going to die? Am I going to live? How did I get here? You see, when God shows you everything, everyone's minds, everyone's intentions, do you think you could take it? No, but just him being in a fish's belly, how extraordinary that was. It was so extraordinary, it made him faint. But it was at that moment he remembered God.